These are the fights to watch for Hex Fight Series 32.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion.
Not even backstage, we're literally outside. Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because we're killing it.
Hex Fight Series 32, of course, taking place in Melbourne, September 7th. You can see it all on Combat Sports Network or peep through the window at the Melbourne Pavilion. Now, it's a massive card, but this first fight to keep an eye on. Marwan Rahiki taking on Michael Manu. Now, Michael Manu has really had some impressive performances and kind of sometimes can't get over the speed bump because he's come up against some pretty impressive opponents such as Colby Thickness recently, who will obviously eventually fight for the Hex Bantamweight title now that Cody Haddon is gone. And Marwan Rahiki is a Rahiki striker. There you go. He is... Look, it's always special when the kid that's special tells you he's special. George Mangos, the Hex featherweight champion, told me that his Lions Den Academy teammate is special. So when the special kid calls him special, that's how you know he's special. Michael Manu is one of the biggest tests going around. I feel like this fight for him is kind of remind everyone that he's not the vet, he's not the gatekeeper. He's very much still at the top of the division, and Rahiki is the guy that is really going to make a name for himself. And I tell you what, if he gets a stoppage, it will probably be the performance of the night. Is he ready for such a step up? I guess we'll find out. This next one's a sneaky little sleeper. Two of the best amateurs last year. They were top of the food chain, and everyone was really excited for them to go pro. They've been talked about matched. They've been rumored to fight each other for many times now. They've gone back and forth, and one of the most heated stare downs at the weigh-ins just moments ago. Jake Piper versus Kasib Murdoch. Now, Kasib grappling heavy. Piper just, man, he's the most educated street fighter. I would say that in the most respectful way possible. He is an absolute wizard, an extensive amateur career. Both of them had, Murdoch was 10-0 as an amateur, Jake Piper 9-2, multiple amateur titles. Kasib Murdoch has 2 professional victories already, be it in Kangaroo Fight Night. Jake Piper finally getting his debut after multiple opponents falling out. Kasib Murdoch stepped up. If you're a betting man, I would say that Jake Piper is probably going to want to keep it standing. Kasib Murdoch will try to drag this one to the mat very quickly, just because I think that's where they both really shine, and both opponents are not people you want to mess with. You want to muck around too much. You want to go straight to your strength. But if you're a betting man, this is the fight to watch. Both of these boys will probably be champions in the next couple of years, and one of them will more than likely move on to the big show one day. So be very aware of this fight. Note it down. Come back. It's going to be one of those ones that is incredibly special. Keep an eye on Jack Lyons taking on Kieran Joblin. Kieran Joblin over 40 professional mixed martial arts fights. We never know when it's going to be his last. He's as good as anyone. He could be an Australian champion at any point in time, and if his record was good enough at the right time, he definitely could have moved on to the higher levels throughout the years. And Jack Lyons, unfortunately, coming up short against Raf Scott last, but he was looking very good. Last event, Jack Lyons he doesn't get as much fanfare as everyone, but he's a man that once ran like 50 marathons in 50 days. Yep. That's true. He's an incredibly good fighter. He just got caught, but Jack Lyons, absolute stud. That's kind of like my little honorable mention sleeper fight as well, even though I said previously the Kasib Murdoch, Jake Piper was a sneaky sleeper. This is a super sneaky sleeper, so keep an eye on this one as well. Matt the Viper Vale taking on Jono Mikhailov. Now, Jono, a former Hex welterweight champion, near fight of the year with Alden Bates, unfortunately coming up short. He says he has learnt a ton. He is glad that he had those lessons, and he's ready to kind of pick up where he left off. He's an absolute stud, and he is coming, and he's going to have to put Matt Vale, a former Hex champion, away as well. Matt Vale, he says, I'm not done. You got to go through me. And it's a very similar fight to the Rahiki and Manu one in the sense of Matt Vale wants to go, no, I'm still at the top of the game. I'm still in title contention. Like, do not kind of treat me as a gatekeeper yet. And Jono Mikhailov is trying to bounce back from that crazy fight, but of course, such a dominant display he had previously to Joseph Luciano, who's just been signed to PFL Bellator. So Jono Mikhailov, even his last 2 fights are very, very valuable. Co-main event, you got one of the biggest hype trains going around. He's living up to it. George Mangos, 4-0 Hex featherweight champion, was involved in the Eternal MMA Grand Prix, but he jumped ship at an amazing opportunity, and boy did the gamble pay off, because he's now the man over at Hex, and everyone's talking about him potentially being the man and jumping back and collecting both belts. But in front of him, the teammate of the man that he beat, and the teammate of the man on the other brand holds the belt, Seb Saleh. So you got Justin Van Heerden, that George Mangos went to battle with last time, and at the time Justin Van Heerden was like the #1 featherweight, pretty much the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in Australia. George Mangos had a bit of back and forth with him and finished him with a beautiful flying triangle. The kid just seems to know what he's doing and look cool, calm, and collected. And even though he was held down for a couple of rounds in that fight, he never really looked stressed. He never really looked like he was worried. And to pull off that triangle was just, it looked like he was setting it up for 3 rounds. Like, I know that's as crazy as that sounds, but it really does. It really did look like he was setting that up. He's an absolute stud. Justin Van Heerden's amazing as well. The reason why I bring all that up, because I feel like George Mangos, he's got a few teammates, Lions Den Academy, doing really well, but almost none better than Freestyle, of course, the home of Alex Volkanovski, UFC legend. But George Mangos has already knocked off Justin Van Heerden. He's now taking on Jarrett Wilbraham. And if he gets through him, I would not be surprised if we see him go over for the triple threat and try to take out Seb Saleh, as we have almost a Hex champ taking on an Eternal champ. But look, right now, George Mangos has pretty crazy striker in front of him. Jarrett Wilbraham, you never quite know what you're going to expect. The man that is been so famous for basically walking away from normal life, living in a van just to chase the dream. He's a unique character. He's a unique cat. I think Jarrett Wilbraham, if anyone can sort of catch a Mangos, especially with the awkward and sort of unique striking affair that sort of Jarrett can do, I feel like that's his sort of best opportunity. George Mangos does say that he wants to sort of stand and bang and finish someone on the feet, so who knows? But to wager a bet, I would say that this fight does not go 2 rounds. And finally, the main event of Hex Fight Series 32. Yeah, you know you're a big deal when you are the Hex flyweight champion and they fly someone in from America, not just anyone. Cynthia Calvillo, who was previously ranked #9 in the UFC, the place that Lisa Kiriakou would like to go. She has to defend her title and show everyone that she belongs. She unfortunately came up short at road to UFC, but she had some really nice moments that she really wants to put her striking on display. Is Cynthia Calvillo one of those sort of once upon a time fighters, and now she's sort of taking a step down, if you will, and kind of does she still have it, or is she kind of going to gather herself and try and go for another run to sort of get back into the UFC? We don't know. This is the fight that will find that out. And Lisa Kiriakou, if she ever wants to make it to the next level, taking out a fighter like Cynthia, and do not let the sort of losing streak trick you. They've been very close fights. They've been very tough fights. So if Lisa can put Cynthia away, we could very much see Lisa Kiriakou in the UFC as early as the next fight. Hex Fight Series 32. Check it out. Combat Sports Network, or like I said, walk through the door at Melbourne Pavilion, September 7th. Australian MMA. Subscribe, like it, share it, follow it, send all your abusive messages.